Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another toy review focusing on the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Far From Home with the Molten Man Build-A-Figure. Overall, this is a solid wave that I can't wait to dive into, assemble the Build-A-Figure and take a look at it. Got some really good Spidey villains in this one, so I can't wait to give you my review on that. But before we do so, I wanted to remind you to like and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. Turn on your push notifications so that whenever a new video drops, you know exactly when it does so that you can be first in line to leave your like and comment. So with that being said, let's dive in to see what this wave has to offer. And starting off with the weakest figure in the wave, in my opinion, that being the double-packed Spider-Man. As far as pieces to the Build-A-Figure, he doesn't come with any. As far as accessories, he doesn't come with anything other than the alternate hands. He comes with that fist, he comes with the web shooter, and obviously the alternate hands to go with it. Overall, not a bad sculpt, but one of the things I've noticed is that it does have a more of a blue hint to the suit, as opposed to black in some of the promo footage for the movie, for Far From Home. And if you look closely, there is no more detailing of the web lines that they used to put on the figures. So it's literally just red sculpted paint. So there's no web lines on that. I don't know if that is the new trend for Spider-Man figures moving forward, but something I'm not entirely thrilled with for this figure. And we have up next Doppelganger. Really cool concept. If you're looking for an awesome figure to round out your Spidey villain shelf, this is definitely one you want to pick up. I love simply the posing and the imposingness of it, just simply sitting on a shelf. I have no emotional attachment to it because I never read that part of the comics, and I don't remember him from the animated TV series, so if he was in there, make sure to let me know so I can correct myself. But there's no ab crunch. I wish I could have had that, but I guess with the 6 arms, there's not much you can do. No accessories given with this figure, but he does come with the Molten Man Build-A-Figure piece, so we will look for that when we put it all together. As I mentioned, Marvel and Hasbro really knocked this wave out of the park, and this is another solid figure, and it's a shame it's so far down on my list. It just goes to show you how great the rest of the figures in this wave are. But we have here Stealth Suit Spider-Man. When I first heard about this concept, I wasn't really on board with it, but actually after seeing the figure in person, it looks a lot cooler than it really was probably meant to be, and I hope it turns out really cool on the film. He does come with the Build-A-Figure piece, he does come with the alternate web shooting hands, and it does come with an unmasked head sculpt as well, so that you can actually see the eyes. I would have liked to have been able to have the goggles flip up and down on the one head sculpt, so you don't have to worry about a second one, but overall, this is a solid figure in this wave. So the next up in the wave is Spider-Woman. Solid sculpt, solid figure, comes with the biggest piece of the Build-A-Figure, but the only drawback really is this strange little accessory she comes with. I understand it's supposed to be a web shooter. It goes right into the wrist peg, and I put it on there originally, but I love this part and how it looks, but when it goes on there, it's like this giant ball of goo, and it just looks kind of strange on her little hand, so I'm probably not going to ever display it with that. Weird choice for this, but otherwise, solid figure. The only thing I don't like as well is with all female Marvel Legends figures is that she really struggles to stand. She has kind of weak legs, they're kind of skinny, but overall, if you pose her in the right way, she will keep her balance. Solid figure, and excited to add her to the shelf. So now, as you can see, we're getting to the real heavy hitters of this wave. And next up is Hydro Man. This figure is absolutely phenomenal. I love the translucent arms that he has, representing the water effect. Little top heavy depending on how you pose him, but he has a giant fist, a giant clenching hand. Just overall, stunning face sculpt. Really, really love this figure. The only drawbacks is it's a little bit hard to stand sometimes because of how big the arms and how heavy they are. He does come with these little removable booty pieces of water if you want to add those to the shoes, if you just want him to walk around like normal. But overall, this is the third best figure in this wave, and that's saying a lot because this is a tremendous wave. This is a tremendous figure. Really excited to add this one to the collection as well. And up next, taking home the silver medal, is Marvel's Scorpion. This is a figure I've been looking forward to for quite some time when it was announced. I just had no idea it was going to be this good when it finally came out into our hands. What I love about it is that it is the comic book version, so it's going to look awesome on the Spidey villain shelf with the rest of the comic book villains. And I love the tail. It's bendable, it's posable, it's kind of giving you a little bit of extra support so you can do some dynamic posing, which is why I have him in a dynamic pose right now. This tail is the way that the Doc Ock tentacles actually probably should have been, and this is just exemplifies everything that a Marvel comic book legend should be. Solid A+, 10 out of 10 figure for Marvel's Scorpion. And finally, rounding out the rest of this wave is Mysterio from Spider-Man Far From Home. If you happen to miss out on the comic book Mysterio, I know a lot of people did from the Lizard wave, this is your chance to grab a really cool figure. And the thing I like about this is it's a completely new sculpt detailed for the movie itself, so it differentiates itself from the comic book Mysterio. And there's just so many things to like about this figure. It does come with a few other hands that you can use. There's no magic effects, but I'm gonna let that slide because of how detailed this sculpt is. You can't really tell from the camera, but there's kind of this glowing shimmer effect in the actual fishbowl helmet. Even on the back, there's some really nice detailing and markings on the cape. I'm really interested to see how this turns out on the big screen coming up here this week with Spider-Man Far From Home. My only thing I could say about it is that I wish there was an unmasked Jake Gyllenhaal head sculpt. I'm sure that may come out in some double bonus pack later on down the line, but overall this is a solid finish to this wave. And now let's put together the Build-A-Figure and take a look at that. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your screens. What you're seeing is the actual Build-A-Figure from this wave from Spider-Man Far From Home, Molten Man. Now, I've not yet seen the film, so I have no idea what role he or it is going to play, but I think overall this is a pretty bold choice to make this the Build-A-Figure for the Spider-Man wave from a movie that's not yet even been released. It's got a really neat sculpt, I'm not going to lie about that. It's very imposing when you're looking at it. It's big, it's thick, you definitely can feel that it's sturdy, but overall, I don't know anything about it. I can't speak to it other than it looks interesting, so I'm sure when the movie comes out I'll be able to kind of relate to the character a little more, but this is it. Molten Man from Spider-Man Far From Home. And wrapping up, final thoughts on this review of the Spider-Man Far From Home Molten Man Build-A-Figure wave. Overall, this is a solid line and one of the best ones that Marvel has put out in quite some time. From top to bottom, there's not a single weak figure in this entire wave. I'm going to give this wave a 9 out of 10 simply for the lack of accessories on a lot of the figures and just the strangeness and choice of this Build-A-Figure overall. That may change once the movie comes out and we learn a little bit more about this figure, but overall, from top to bottom, as I said, this wave is the one to get and one of the best Marvel Legends waves that have come out in some time. I think there's going to definitely be some aftermarket value rises on some of these figures, if not all of them. This is a solid pickup. Thank you so much for staying and reviewing these figures with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, and I will see you in our next video.